Hi, this is Stefan Gonick, Soulmate Attraction Mentor and expert EFT practitioner from findingtheloveyouwant.com. Welcome to Love Talk Q&A, the place to be to get your questions answered about finding and keeping the love of your life. Now, in this episode of Love Talk Q&A, I'm going to answer the following question. Stefan, please help. I'm in a great relationship, but I'm afraid that I'm sabotaging it. I've started noticing that I can start a fight for no reason. Also, my boyfriend has this odd-looking big toe, and I find myself looking at it a lot and feeling less attracted to him. I don't know what's going on, and I'm afraid that I'm going to ruin my relationship. Please help. So what is going on in a situation like this? It can be very confusing, and it actually can sabotage a relationship. And it's something that if you understand the source of it, then you can understand what to do about it. So here's what it is. Basically, we all have fears of intimacy. And in fact, our fears of intimacy come up the strongest in a relationship that we feel particularly good about because the stakes feel the highest. So, there's a lot of things that can happen that can cause us to sort of activate these fears. Sometimes we can be going along fine, and then these fears can just start rising within us. And maybe what happened is actually things were good for too long. that can actually be the source of these fears, is that, wow, things are going so great, and you kind of start thinking about next steps or whatever. But this can also happen in a marriage too. It's just something on a subtle level can start bringing up your fears of intimacy. And then as we start feeling afraid, and we may not even be directly consciously aware that we're feeling afraid, but as we start feeling afraid, we will naturally start doing things to defend ourselves against that fear that are designed to bring the fear down by causing distance. Okay, the key point here is causing distance. So we're in this really yummy, close relationship, and then as we start getting scared, we're going to want to create some distance. Not conscious, this just happens unconsciously as our fear rises. So there's certain characteristic ways that we tend to do that. So one way we create distance from this place of fear is to start a fight for, quote, no reason at all, right? We don't think there's a reason, and on the surface, it doesn't seem like there's any good reason we started this fight. We just kind of started fighting. But there is a reason. The reason is actually that we're scared. Another thing that we can do to create distance subconsciously is what's called blemishing. So it's interesting, you actually had two of these sort of distancing techniques, these subconscious distancing techniques in your question to me. So blemishing is the idea that you're going to pick some blemish or small flaw in your partner and focus in on it, right? So your partner is this whole package, and yet there's this one little flaw, and it's kind of like, here's the little flaw, and you go, and you focus, very intently on the flaw, missing out on all the rest. It's sort of the opposite of the honeymoon effect. Like when you meet somebody in the beginning that you really like a lot, there's something called the halo effect, in the honeymoon phase, where you focus exclusively on the good traits, and you actually block out and disregard their flaws. Right? And then once you get past the honeymoon phase, you get into this more realistic phase where you just see everything, right? You see all the good stuff, you see the problems and the flaws, but you're content with the whole package. Yes, this person is a package, and I'm happy with the package. Flaws, great stuff, everything. Okay? So, but blemishing is the opposite of the halo effect. Blemishing is you go in and you just look very narrowly at a flaw. So in your case, it was your boyfriend's funny-looking big toe. Right? Could be anything. I remember I had a girlfriend who was really beautiful, but she had this little, she had a crown on one of these teeth, and there's this tiny little gap around the tooth. And I remember she'd be talking, and when I got scared, I would look at that little gap, and it just bugged me. I was like, I didn't like that little gap. The rest of the time, I didn't even notice it was there. But if I was in blemishing mode, I'd be looking at that little gap around her tooth, the upper part of the tooth. So, everybody has flaws. We all have blemishes, of course. We're all human beings. So it's easy to find flaws if you need to create distance and to do this blemishing thing. So blemishing is a second thing we can do. A third thing we can do is just withdraw. Just start withdrawing from our partner for, again, no apparent reason. A fourth thing we can do is start noticing other people around, right? I mean, the world is full of attractive people. You can be very happy with your partner and you would never cheat, but you might notice that all of a sudden, for some weird reason, that you're just noticing these other people more. And you might see someone in the street, and then later you might just kind of be remembering that person on the street and the way they walked and fantasizing a little bit. Not that you'd ever act on it, but notice what it does. It creates distance between you and your partner. So these are 4 different things so far that I mentioned, right? Fighting for no reason, blemishing, withdrawing, thinking about other people. And there's more than that, but those are some of the more common ones. So what do we do about this, right? Because this does create distance. Well, first of all, when you recognize what's going on, that alone helps. And what I do, when I came to understand this phenomenon, and I was big on the blemishing thing, right? As I would do that blemishing thing. So what I noticed, or what I did, when I noticed that I was blemishing my partner, focusing on some imperfection, I would go, oh, okay, I must be feeling scared right now. See, these are unconscious strategies to manage our fear when we're not consciously aware of the fear. So one of the solutions is to become conscious of the fear. So like I say, if I notice I'm starting to fight for no reason, or blemishing, or withdrawing, or thinking about other people, I use that as a sign that I must be having some fears rise up in me. So I'll just say that to myself, okay, I must be scared right now. What am I scared about? So just the very act of focusing on my fear, I will immediately drop my blemishing behavior, or the fighting behavior, or any of these things. Just the very fact is I'm focusing in now on my fear instead of trying to get away from it. And so the first step is just acknowledging, I must be scared right now. I must be afraid of something. And then the second step is like trying to get more clearly in touch with what that fear is about. Well, what exactly am I afraid of? So like in my case, the fear might have been afraid that I couldn't be myself and do the things I like doing because I have to do whatever my partner wants. That could be a fear. And it may be that I was not being true to myself in a moment, and I was kind of going along with my partner more than felt right for me. And I was bringing up that fear, and I wasn't really aware of it, so I started to create distance. So if I am aware of it, I can act on it. Now you can tap on your fear. That's one way to act on it. Sometimes you have to change your behavior. So in that case, it's like, oh no, it's right. There are times when I do need to be true to myself and do something that I know I want to do, even if my partner doesn't want me to do it in that moment or something, or at all, or whatever. There's certain things that's like, no, I need to be true to myself here. And then, the fear goes away. It's like, okay, yes, I'm not afraid of losing myself anymore because I'm being myself. But in any case, the bottom line is all these behaviors are a way of trying to reduce the fear subconsciously by creating distance. And all you have to do is become aware of it, that, I must be scared right now. And that alone will make you stop doing those unconscious behaviors. And then ideally you get more into it. What am I afraid of specifically? Is it sufficient to just tap on my fear? Or do I need to take some action with my partner? Maybe I just need to talk about it with my partner. I notice I'm having this fear right now and I want to share it with you and let's talk about it. And sometimes just sharing your fear can be a wonderful way to release it. So anyway, that's the explanation why you're doing that. So you don't have to keep doing these things that you're aware are negatively impacting your relationship. So going back to the person who asked me this question, you can become conscious and change that, and it can actually be an opportunity for intimacy, because if you share your fears in a non-attacking way, but just I own it, it's my fear, and I'm going to share it with you, that actually creates greater intimacy. So it's the opposite of that distancing behavior, that unconscious distancing behavior. It's a way of actually coming closer together. So that can be pretty cool. If you're blemishing, don't tell the person you're blemishing though. Just tell them you're scared, because that can be hurtful. I made that mistake myself. So I realized that it was not a good idea. What's really good to do is just say, I'm just noticing I'm feeling some fears come up being together right now. I'd love to talk about it if you're available. So anyway, I hope that helped your relationship. There's many different things that can sabotage our relationships without us being aware of it. In my Find Love You Want mini course, even though it's oriented towards people who are not in a relationship, all the same things that negatively impact our search for love, those same things also impact us when we're in a relationship. So I still encourage you to read it even if you're already in a relationship. It'll still be relevant. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I wish for you all to have the wonderful, juicy, yummy love that you most want. Did you like this video? If so, click on the like button below, subscribe to this channel, and spread the love to your friends. And if you have questions about your love life, please submit them in the comments below, and your question just might appear in an upcoming episode of Love Talk Q&A. Also, if you would like to understand the 3 key blocks to finding love and how to attract your soulmate now, sign up for the free Finding the Love You Want mini course. Well, thank you for hanging out with me, and remember, no matter how long you've been trying, you really can have the life and love you long for. This is Stefan Gonick, International Love Coach from FindingTheLoveYouWant.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time on Love Talk Q&A.